What's going on, y'all? I hope you're having a really good Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Eve here in the Western Hemisphere. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and do a video discussing 15 of my favorite Christmas movies of all time so that you can watch them either today, tomorrow, or whatever. And this is not necessarily just movies about Christmas. That's not really what they're about. It's a combination of being about Christmas as well as movies that take place during Christmas. So you're gonna get a nice little mix here. It ain't just gonna be all, Yule time, winter wonderland type of stuff. We're gonna get some real good movies out of this. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's okay. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, or if you just have a day off of work or whatever, or if you're with your family or not, it's whatever makes you happy. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I hope you're having a great day. But I want to give you my list of 15 must see Christmas movies. Not all of these movies are going to be the ones you've heard of before, but some probably will be. So I want to go over them and discuss my 15 must see movies. Some of you guys have seen all of them, some of you have seen only some of them, but we're going to go through it right now. So, number one on my list, yes, it is a Christmas movie, Die Hard. Probably the best action film on my list right here when it comes to just pure action. Started a whole franchise and it still holds up today. Bruce Willis really made himself and solidified himself as an action star. He is now retired from the business, but Die Hard is my number one right here on my list of the best Christmas movies, at least my personal 15 favorite. Number two, Gremlins. If you like sort of comedy horror, it's a wacky film. The first Gremlins movie to me is a lot of fun. I personally haven't seen it in quite some time, so I may pop it in. I might actually watch it tomorrow because it's been so long, but you gotta make sure you see Gremlins on Christmas or Christmas Eve with your family. It is a fun little movie. Number three, maybe the greatest Christmas comedy of all time. It's debatable. Home Alone, highest grossing film of 1990. It's a movie that I pretty much watch almost every year, and not even around Christmas. Like, this movie still is funny. Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern are absolutely phenomenal as the Wet Bandits. I mean, you even see it right here. You see Kevin McAllister there, Macaulay Culkin, really kicked off his career. Obviously, he was in Uncle Buck, which was before this, but Home Alone, he was front and center. Fantastic movie, still holds up, will never ever not be a classic. Number four, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. If Home Alone is not your favorite Christmas movie, comedy wise, then Christmas Vacation is it. Christmas Vacation is a classic. I mean, this movie may capture Christmas even more than Home Alone does. And it's a movie that even my relatives, many of them who do not speak English because I'm not American, because of that, even they love this film. Even they appreciate this movie. So, phenomenal film. Probably the best of the Vacation series, if you ask me. Number five, Scrooged. Nobody ever talks about how awesome this movie is. They say it's a little bit, mean spirited. No, that's the point. It's Bill Murray playing a modern version of Scrooge, directed by Richard Donner, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. I love this movie so much. It's a movie that when I was a kid used to come on HBO and I would try to catch it and I could never catch it. But when I got older and I got money, I was able to buy it on DVD and later on Blu-ray. Scrooged is a phenomenal Christmas movie. Number six, we're going to go back in time now to some classics. Old school, It's a Wonderful Life. You can't fuck with It's a Wonderful Life, man. Great family film. Really, really thought-provoking movie as well. I know some of you guys have not seen it because it's an old movie, but if you can get your hands on it, I don't know if it's on any streaming. It should be, but check out It's a Wonderful Life. Number seven, here's a movie that I have not seen in quite some time, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Ernest Saves Christmas. Not one of my favorite Christmas movies or even one of my favorite Ernest movies. I mean, it is one of my favorite Christmas movies, but it's not one of my favorite Ernest movies. Ernest Scared Stupid and Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Goes to Jail are probably my favorite Ernest films. I think Scared Stupid is probably the best one. But Ernest Saves Christmas captures the Christmas spirit and still has Ernest being wacky. Jim Varney, he's no longer with us, but any kid from the 80s and 90s will remember Ernest and remember how awesome he was. Number eight, A Christmas movie that people don't talk about very often. If Die Hard is not your favorite action film from Christmas, Lethal Weapon's got to be it, bro. Another Richard Donner film. Lethal Weapon, of course, just an absolute classic. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, one of the greatest buddy cop films ever made, and one that will not bore you this holiday season. Number 10, A Charlie Brown Christmas. This is animated, maybe one of the best animated sequences or animated films to come out. Obviously, a lot of people look at the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Frosty the Snowman, you know, the claymation classics. They air them every year. Charlie Brown Christmas is, to me, the definitive kids' Christmas story. Actually, I skipped one. I went to number 10. That's number 10. Number 9 is Batman Returns. Batman Returns, dude. Come on. This is a Christmas movie. You've got Tim Burton's touch all over it. You've got it's such an underrated film. I think a lot of Batman fans never give it the kind of praise they give it. They always say it's more of a Tim Burton film than a Batman film, and it focuses on the villains, and that's true. It is more of a Tim Burton film than a Batman film, but it's a damn good one. The performances here, you know, Michelle Pfeiffer, incredible as Catwoman. I don't know about you, Miss Kitty, but I feel so much yummier. I mean, just everything. Even the perverted Penguin performance by Danny DeVito. You know, you're gonna fill the void in Gotham. I like to fill her void. Teach her my French flipper trick. But there's just so many classic lines. Christopher Walken. How have people not praised Batman Returns? I don't think it gets as much love as it should. I really don't. Number 11, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Might be the only sequel to a previously existing movie here on the list. Home Alone 2 does capture Christmas as much as Home Alone 1 does, without question. Is Home Alone 1 better? Yes. Does Home Alone 2 do the same thing? Yeah, I would say about 70% is the same kind of movie, but different aesthetic. Tim Curry is phenomenal in it. Rob Schneider, you know, that he's the best. Tim Curry's the best character in the whole movie. Absolutely classic, brilliant film. You must watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Number 12, the creepy Mexican Santa Claus movie. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. Mystery Science Theater 3000 made this one a real classic. It's the Mexican Santa Claus movie. It is the wackiest. If you're planning on getting high on Christmas or drunk, this is the movie to see. Preferably high. This movie, dude, Merlin, the wizard, lives near Santa. And he has to go against Satan, who's the villain of the film. Like, I'm not even making this up, dude. It's made by Mexico. You've got to watch the creepy Mexican Santa Claus movie. It's just called Santa Claus, I think. Just type in Mexican Santa Claus. Number 13, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Do I have to say anything else? One of the few movies that can be watched on Halloween and on Christmas and still get the same vibe. Again, that Tim Burton feel. He didn't direct it, he produced it. It's got the Tim Burton aesthetics to it. It's also got that, you know, that incredible soundtrack, great music. It holds up. It holds up, I think, and I'm so glad they didn't squeeze this movie and make sequels out of it. It works as a standalone film. Number 14, Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in Jingle All the Way. Arnold and Sinbad and Jake Lloyd. I have a smile on my face just thinking about this movie because it is so freaking wacky. It's turbo time. Like, there's so many quotables here. It's so relatable as a parent. See, I watched this movie first when I was a kid, and I liked it. But when you're grown up and you got to buy a gift for your children, this movie once again is recycled into being awesome again for a totally different reason. You relate to the parents in this movie. You relate to the late Christmas shopping madness. It's awesome. Jingle All the Way, underrated comedy if you ask me. People crap on it, but no, dude, it's Arnold at his absolute wackiest. And number 15, speaking of getting high, Harold and Kumar's 3D Christmas. I was lucky enough to see this in theaters, and it was my favorite 3D experience. Not Avatar, not, any of the Marvel movies. No. Harold and Kumar's 3D Christmas, the way that the blunt flies towards the screen in 3D. If you don't have a 3D TV or a 3D setup, that's okay. Just go see Harold and Kumar's Christmas, especially after seeing the previous two. This movie is so funny. Everyone's phenomenal, and especially Neil Patrick Harris, who steals it in all these movies. You've got to add Harold and Kumar's Christmas. Not a family movie necessarily. It might be better for the teenage adult audience, but nonetheless, it's a classic Christmas film. So that's my list of my 15 favorite Christmas movies. Go ahead and leave your comments on your favorite Christmas movies. Take care of yourself and your family. I hope y'all are well, and I'll see you real soon.